So you're looking at getting into the world of bikes and you're a fan of the orange variety. Luckily for you, KTM has two options when it comes to entry-level motorcycles. We've got the 390 Duke and the 390 Adventure. KTM South Africa gave us the brand new 2023 390 Adventure, and we're also using René's 390 Duke, which is a 2021 model. Now, all the 390s, apart from the latest 390 Adventure, have been exactly the same since the 2020 update. The only difference on the new 2023 390 Adventure is the addition of the spoked rims to give you that extra edge when it comes to off-roading. KTM's 390s come with a 373cc engine that push out about 44 horsepower, which is a lot for a little 400cc bike. You get WP suspension front and rear, a single 320mm disc brake with 4 pistons in the front, and a single 230mm disc 1 piston floating caliper at the back. You also get traction control and ABS, which you can turn off with the Duke's Supermoto mode. Yeah, it also comes with a TFT display with simple to use controls on the left handlebar. When it comes to the Adventure, the specs are about the same, with the addition of adjustable WP suspension and an off-road riding mode. You can also turn off the traction control and ABS. The Adventure also has a whole 200mm of ground clearance. So now obviously the Duke is aimed more at the road riders, whereas the Adventure is aimed more at the off-roading hooligans. But does that mean that the Adventure is a bad road bike? Or that the Duke is a better road bike? Well, let's go find out. Okay, so first impressions on the little Duke that you've had a couple months?
First, when I got on the bike, it was scary. This bike has so much torque for such a small bike.
Yeah, compared to your scooter.
Compared to a scooter, because that's all I know. So yeah, second gear, it can move. It's a
very punchy bike. But that's KTM for you. They're always ready to race, you know.
Yeah. Also very playful, I think.
Is it? Is it a fun bike? Do you think you can get into trouble on it?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Cool. And the Adventure? What are your first thoughts on that?
Amazing.
Amazing.
And comfortable and smooth. And yeah, I was very impressed on how I didn't expect that from an Adventure. I never been on one. I didn't think it was going to be easy to handle, but I was pleasantly surprised because yeah, it was very smooth. The only thing that I didn't like was that I can't put both feet on the ground, so it feels that little bit you don't always have full control, whereas with the Duke I'm flat on the ground and I can always feel where I'm going. The seat is comfortable for me. It is a bit hard, but it's small, slim, so yeah, it's very nice for me. Compared to the Adventure is much more comfortable. The seating position is like so comfortable.
Yeah, it's got a big square seat almost, you know.
Yes, and soft, which is nice.
So both of them are comfortable, you say?
Yes, for me, I love it. I love both of them. Hulle is altyd baie lekker.
Yeah.
I have done long distances on the Duke before, like 100 k's, and I was fine, but I think my body composition works well with this bike. So long distance, my knees didn't get sore. The only thing was my wrist, maybe a little bit. But with the Adventure, no problems at all. It sits comfortable, more upright. This one is a little bit lean forward. So definitely if you're going like through the city, the Duke is a fun, nimble bike to get through town. But the Adventure is definitely more for adventure.
Definitely.
And long road trips.
Yeah, but the Adventure is also, because it's a small bike, it's also pretty nimble. So you can also cut through traffic, go through town on it. It's not as quick or as nimble as the Duke would be, but it's still no slouch around town, you know. How's the view of the screen on your Duke? Can you see the screen fine?
Yeah, no, I can see it fine.
It's not a little low, huh?
No, unless you're leaning over the tank, it's not a problem.
Going flat taps. Because I noticed when I like go full tuck on your little Duke, all I see is the pavement. You don't see the front wheel, you don't see the light, you don't see the dash or anything. All you see is the pavement in front of you, and it feels almost like you're flying. It's pretty cool. But on the Adventure, it's got a bit of a tower, so it's definitely more in your face. You can see all the information clearly.
The Duke is a lekker stout ene. Hy is baie vinnig. Lots of torque. Like I said, second gear is where the most torque is, I feel. And
Yeah, what's your top speed?
My top speed.
Fastest you've
I don't
gone?
think I'm allowed to say that on camera.
On a controlled environment, on a close track, how fast did you go?
I only reached 145.
145, but did it have any juice left?
Yes, but I didn't.
First bike, 145 is pretty fast for your first bike. But
Yeah.
these things, I know for a fact that they can go well over 150, 160. For someone of our size, you can get easily above 160. On the Adventure, I managed to get a 171 kilometers an hour, which is very fast for a little 400 adventure bike. How's the Adventure's power compared to yours?
Very smooth, and I liked it a lot. I only got 100 because I felt like I could feel the knobby tires when I went faster, like compared to my bike. With the Adventure, I could feel the difference, and I think it's just because I'm used to this, but I could feel the wheels were different.
It might be the suspension as well, more suited for soaking up little bumps and not really for going very fast, you know.
Yeah. Okay. This Adventure also came with a quick shifter, which is very fun to use. Except when you're going from first to second, it's a bit clunky, but other than that, it's great. It's smooth. Okay. The little windshield on the Adventure is also fantastic. It helps a lot to blow the wind over your head when you're going faster than 100. Whereas with the Duke, when you're going fast, you can definitely feel the wind push back your head.
As you said, the Adventure is very smooth, huh? So this thing is not smooth. It's a bit snappy, huh?
Yeah,
it's a bit snappy.
Especially if you're not going fast. I feel the faster you go, the smoother the Duke is.
So throttle control is a bit snappy at slow speed.
Yes, like cornering, I'm not very comfortable with slow cornering. The clutch throttle control is a bit
It's very on off.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say it's aggressive, whereas the Adventure is very controlled. The Duke I've stalled plenty of times. I haven't stalled the Adventure once.
Okay, so the clutch control and the throttle response much smoother on the Adventure.
Yes.
And the brakes, are they good enough? Do you ever feel like you need a bit more stopping power?
No, both the Adventure and the Duke, they both stop
On a
when
dime.
I need them to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, no, it's lekker. They both got the same brakes, front and rear, so yeah, and it's more than enough stopping power for a little 400.
For a beginner, this is, I would say both bikes are great.
The Duke is a bit more racy, but
Yes,
the Adventure is a bit more forgiving.
Yeah, I feel like it's whatever you're into. If you want something that can go that extra off-road and have some adventure, then
Or just cruise comfortably.
Or just cruise yeah, because like long straight roads, the adventure is more. And I would say if I didn't ride the Duke first, if I didn't have the Duke, then I would definitely would want the adventure.
Is it?
But I wouldn't want to sell my Duke for an adventure.
In an ideal world,
I would have both.
you'd have both, yeah. But yeah, so the Adventure, you say a bit off-roady, but it's not a full-on adventure bike, I feel. It's very smooth and plush, but it's also, I've taken that thing around a couple corners and it feels a bit smoother than the Duke, but it still wants you to go very fast, you know. It wants you to punch it. It's ready to race, you know, as KTMs are. So how was your experience on your first adventure bike going off-road?
It was fantastic. It was a bit scary at first because, I mean, yeah, just the only thing that made me a bit scared was that I couldn't, if I had to, like put both my feet down and feel safe. Like I felt very high up, and with the sand, I wasn't sure what to expect. But it was fun, and
yeah, it was a bit of a bumpy pothole covered dirt road that we were on.
yeah.
But yeah, the suspension seemed to have soaked up every little bump that you hit.
Yeah, it was very comfortable off-road. Turning around on the Adventure was much more difficult for me than it was with the Duke, especially off-road, the sand, slippery. But yeah, I think once you're used to it and you get the feel of how to move and shift your body weight, it will be a great bike.
Yeah. So what's it like taking the little Duke off-road?
Taking the Duke off-road was fun, but not as smooth.
No.
I feel like if you go with the Duke off-road, it's for a like a slip and slide. You can definitely feel the back wheel a bit going, and the braking not as great.
Yeah, the more aggressive tackies on the Adventure makes a big difference. But yeah, and with the Adventure, your new spoked rims gives you even more range of freedom. Now you can go rock hopping as well if you really want to, you know. And I noticed taking the Adventure off-road, it feels like a dirt bike. It's light and nimble. The wheels aren't as big as a dirt bike, but I mean, it feels the same to me. It feels like a very, very strong, very fast dirt bike. My experience with dirt bikes is just there in the 250 range, and it's definitely faster than that, but it feels as light and as nimble, and I would go off-roading for days on that little thing. Compared to my bigger adventure bike, which is a bit intimidating when it comes off-roading. I mean, I've become comfortable with it, but I feel much more confident with the little 400. So if you are already riding big adventure bikes and you want maybe something just to play around with on the weekend, 390 Adventure is perfect for that as well. I wish I could have my big adventure bike to go touring and daily and whatever, but have a little 390 Adventure to go just having fun on the weekends, you know, exploring all the little trails. You can take it on a single track. It's small, nimble, very easy to ride. I even learned how to jump a bike on that thing, so not a big jump, but still, it's very confident, inspiring. It's a fantastic little bike. Yeah, with KTM, it's hard to go wrong, you know. If you had to pick one of the bikes right now, which one would you take?
Yeah, that's a hard question, but I would stick with my Duke.
Cool, then I get to ride the Adventure.
I really, really love the Adventure. It is sad that I have to give it back, But maybe one day when I'm big, I can get myself an adventure bike. A KTM 390.
Yeah.
Adventure.
Then you got a road bike and a dirt bike.
Yes, and I would ride them both all the time, everywhere.
At the same time.
At the same time. I think the KTM 390s are great entry-level bikes, or even just fun bikes, and I do recommend both of them. It's just whatever your preference is. And thank you KTM for lending us the adventure.
Oh, the new 2023 Adventure 390 is out, so make your way to your nearest KTM dealership, book a test ride, have some fun. It's a very lekker bike. Ready to race, ready to put a smile on your face. Check out motormedia.co.za for the full write-up on the brand spanking new 2023 390 Adventure.